Esaias, chapters 5 through 9. Now I will sing to my beloved a song of my beloved concerning my vineyard. My beloved had a vineyard on a high hill in a fertile place. And I made a hedge round it, and dug a trench, and planted a choice vine, and built a tower in the midst of it, and dug a place for the wine vat in it. I waited for it to bring forth grapes, and it brought forth thorns. And now, ye dwellers in Jerusalem, and every man of Judah, judge between me and my vineyard. What shall I do any more to my vineyard, that I have not done to it? Whereas I expected it to bring forth grapes, but it has brought forth thorns. Now I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away its hedge, and it shall be for a spoil. And I will pull down its walls, and it shall be left to be trodden down. And I will forsake my vineyard, and it shall not be pruned, nor dug, and thorns shall come up upon it as a barren land. And I will command the clouds to rain, nor rain upon it. For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel, and the men of Judah his beloved plant. I expected it to bring forth judgment, and it brought forth iniquity, and not righteousness, but a cry. Woe to them that join house to house, and add field to field, that they may take away something of their neighbors. Will ye dwell alone upon the land? For these things have reached the ears of the Lord of hosts. For though many houses should be built, many and fair houses shall be desolate, and there shall be no inhabitants in them. For 10 yoke of oxen plow the land shall yield 1 jarful, and he that sows 6 homers shall produce 3 measures. Woe to them that rise up in the morning and follow strong drink, who wait at it till the evening. For the wine shall inflame them, for they drink wine with the harp, and psaltery, and drums, and pipes. But they regard not the works of the Lord, and consider not the works of his hands. Therefore my people have been taken captive, because they know not the Lord, and there has been a multitude of dead bodies, because of hunger and of thirst for water. Therefore hell has enlarged its desire, and opened its mouth without ceasing, and her glorious and great, and her rich, and her pestilent men shall go down into it. And the mean man shall be brought low, and the great man shall be disgraced, and the lofty eye shall be brought low. But the Lord of hosts shall be exalted in judgment, and the holy God shall be glorified in righteousness. And they that were spoiled shall be fed as bulls, and lambs shall feed on the waste of places of them that are taken away. Woe to them that draw sins to them as with a long rope, and iniquities as with the thong of a heifer's yoke, who say, Let him speedily hasten what he will do, that we may see it. And let the counsel of the Holy One of Israel come, that we may know it. Woe to them that call evil good, and good evil, who make darkness light, and light darkness, who make bitter sweet, and sweet bitter. Woe to them that are wise in their own conceit, and knowing in their own sight. Woe to the strong ones of you that drink wine, and the mighty ones that mingle strong drink, who justify the ungodly for rewards, and take away the righteousness of the righteous. Therefore as stubble shall be burnt by a coal of fire, and shall be consumed by a violent flame. Their root shall be as chaff, and their flower shall go up as dust. For they rejected the law of the Lord of hosts, and insulted the word of the Holy One of Israel. Therefore the Lord of hosts was greatly angered against his people. He reached forth his hand upon them, and smote them, and the mountains were troubled, and their carcasses were as dung in the midst of the way. Yet for all this his anger has not been turned away, but his hand is yet raised. Therefore shall he lift up a signal to the nations that are afar, and he shall hiss for them from the end of the earth. And behold, they are coming very quickly. They shall not hunger nor be weary, neither shall they slumber nor sleep, neither shall they loose their girdles from their loins, neither shall their shoe latchets be broken, whose arrows are sharp, and their bows bent. Their horses' hooves are counted as solid rock, and their chariot wheels are as a storm. They rage as lions, and draw nigh as the lion's whelps. And he shall seize, and roar as a wild beast, and he shall cast them forth, and there shall be none to deliver them. And he shall roar on account of them in that day, as the sound of the swelling sea. And they shall look to the land, and behold, there shall be thick darkness in their perplexity. And it came to pass in the year in which King Esaias died, that I saw the Lord sitting on a high and exalted throne, and the house was full of his glory. And seraphs stood round about him. Each one had 6 wings, and with 2 they covered their face, and with 2 they covered their feet, and with 2 they flew. And one cried to the other, and they said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. And the lintels shook at the voice they uttered, and the house was filled with smoke. And I said, Woe is me, for I am pricked to the heart. For being a man, and having unclean lips, I dwell in the midst of a people having unclean lips, and I have seen with mine eyes the King, the Lord of hosts. And there was sent to me one of the seraphs, and he had in his hand a coal, which he had taken off the altar with the tongs. And he touched my mouth, and said, Behold, this has touched thy lips, and will take away thine iniquities, and will purge off thy sins. And I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send? And who will go to this people? And I said, Behold, I am here. Send me. And he said, Go and say to this people, Ye shall hear indeed, but ye shall not understand. And ye shall see indeed, but ye shall not perceive. For the heart of this people has become gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes have they closed, lest they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and be converted, and I should heal them. And I said, How long, O Lord? And he said, Until the cities be deserted by reason of their not being inhabited, and the houses by reason of there being no men, and the land shall be left desolate. And after this God shall remove the men far off, and they that are left upon the land shall be multiplied. And yet there shall be a tenth upon it, and again it shall be for a spoil, as a turpentine tree, and as an acorn when it falls out of its husk. And it came to pass in the days of Ahaz, the son of Jotham, the son of Esaias, king of Judah, there came upon Rezin, king of Aram, and Phachi, son of Romelius, king of Israel, against Jerusalem to war against it, but they could not take it. And a message was brought to the house of David, saying, Aram has conspired with Ephraim, and his soul was amazed, and so was people, as in a wood tree is moved by the wind. The Lord said to Esaias, Go forth to meet Ahaz, thou and thy son Jasub, who is left, to the pool of the upper way of the fuller's field. And thou shalt say to him, Take care to be quiet, and fear not, neither let thy soul be disheartened because of these two smoking firebrands. For when my fierce anger is over, I will heal again. And as for the son of Aram, the son of Romelius, forasmuch as they have devised an evil counsel, saying, We will go up against Judea, and having conferred with them, we will turn them away to our side, and will make the son of Tabeel king of it. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, This counsel shall not abide, nor come to pass. But that of Aram is Damascus, and that of Damascus Rasim. And yet within 65 years the kingdom of Ephraim shall cease from being a people, and that of Ephraim is Sormoron, and that of Somerom the son of Romelius. But if ye believe not, neither will ye at all understand. And the Lord spoke again to Ahaz, saying, Ask for thyself a sign of the Lord thy God in the depth or in the height. And Ahaz said, I will not ask, neither will I tempt the Lord. And he said, Hear ye now, O house of David, is it a little thing for you to contend with men? And how do ye contend against the Lord? Therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive in the womb, and shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Emmanuel. Butter and honey shall he eat, before he knows either to prefer evil or choose good. For before the child shall know good or evil, he refuses evil, to choose the good. And the land shall be forsaken, which thou art afraid of, because of the two kings. But God shall bring upon thee, and upon thy people, and upon the house of thy father, days which have never come, from the day that Ephraim took away from Judah the king of the Assyrians. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall hiss for the flies, which insect shall rule over a part of the river of Egypt, for the bee, which is in the land of the Assyrians. And they all shall enter into the clefts of the land, into the holes of the rocks, into the caves, into every ravine. In that day the Lord shall shave with the hired razor the king of Assyria beyond the river, the head and the hairs of the feet, and will remove the beard. And it shall come to pass in that day that a man shall rear a heifer and 2 sheep. And it shall come to pass from their drinking an abundance of milk, that every one that is left on the land shall eat butter and honey. And it shall come to pass in that day, for every place where there shall be 1,000 vines at 1,000 shekels, they shall become barren land and thorns. Men shall enter thither with arrow and bow, for all the land it shall be barren ground and thorns. And every mountain shall be certainly plowed, there shall be no fear come thither, for there shall be from among the barren ground and thorns, that whereupon cattle shall feed, and oxen shall tread. And the Lord said to me, Take to thyself a volume of a great new book, and write in it with the man's pen concerning the making of a rapid plunder of spoils, for it is nearer at the hand. And make me witnesses of faithful men, Urias, and Zacharias the son of Barachias. And I went in to the prophetess, and she conceived, and bore a son. And the Lord said to me, Call his name, Spoil quickly, Plunder speedily. For before the child shall know how to call his father or his mother, one shall take the power of Damascus and the spoils of Samaria before the king of the Assyrians. And the Lord spoke to me yet again, saying, Because this people chooses not the water of Siloam that goes softly, but wills to have Rasin, the son of Romelius, to be king over you. Therefore, behold, the Lord brings up upon you the water of the river, strong and abundant, even the king of the Assyrians and his glory. And he shall come up over every valley of yours, and shall walk over every wall of yours. And he shall take away from Judah every man who shall be able to lift up his head, and every one able to accomplish anything. And his camp shall fill the breadth of thy land, O God, with us. Know ye, Gentiles, and be conquered. Hearken ye even to the extremity of the earth. Be conquered after ye have strengthened yourselves. For even if ye should again strengthen yourselves, ye shall again be conquered. And whatsoever counsel ye shall take, the Lord shall bring it to naught. And whatsoever word ye shall speak, it shall not stand among you. For God is with us. Thus saith the Lord, with a strong hand they revolt from the course of the way of this people, saying, Let them not say, It is hard. For whatsoever this people says is hard. But fear not ye fear, neither be dismayed. Sanctify ye the Lord himself, and he shall be thy fear. If thou shalt trust in him, he shall be to thee for a sanctuary, and ye shall not come against him as against a stumbling stone, neither as against the falling of a rock. But the houses of Jacob are in a snare, and the dwellers in Jerusalem in a pit. Therefore many among them shall be weak, and fall, and be crushed, and they shall draw nigh, and the men shall be taken securely. Then shall those who seal themselves that they may not learn the law be made manifest. And one shall say, I will wait for God, who has turned away his face from the house of Jacob, and I will trust in him. Behold, I and the children which God has given me, and they shall be for signs and wonders in the house of Israel, from the Lord of hosts, who dwells in Mount Sion. And if they should say to you, Seek those that have in them a divine spirit, or them that speak out of the earth, them that speak vain words, who speak out of their belly, shall not a nation diligently seek to their God? Why do they seek to the dead concerning the living? For he has given the law for a help, that they should not speak according to this word, concerning which there are no gifts to give for it. And famine shall come sorely upon you, and it shall come to pass, that when ye shall be hungry, ye shall be grieved, and ye shall speak ill of the prince and your fathers' ordinances. And they shall look up to heaven above, and they shall look on the earth below, and behold severe distress, and darkness, affliction, and anguish, and darkness, so that one cannot see. And he that is in anguish shall not be distressed, only for a time. Drink this first. Act quickly, O land of Zabulon, land of Nephthalim, and the rest inhabiting the seacoast, and land beyond Jordan, Galilee of the Gentiles. O people walking in darkness, behold a great light. Ye that dwell in the region and shadow of death, a light shall shine upon you. The multitude of the people which thou hast brought down in thy joy, they shall even rejoice before thee, as they that rejoiced in harvest, and as they that divide the spoil. Because the yoke that was laid upon them has been taken away, and the rod that was on their neck, for he has broken the rod of the exactors, as in the day of Madiam. For they shall compensate for every garment that has been acquired by deceit, and all raiment with restitution, and they shall be willing, even if they were burnt with fire. For a child is born to us, and a son is given to us, whose government is upon his shoulder, and his name is called the Messenger of Great Counsel. For I will bring peace upon princes, and health to him. His government shall be great, and of his peace there is no end. It shall be upon the throne of David, and upon his kingdom, to establish it, and to support it with judgment, and with righteousness, from henceforth and forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts shall perform this. The Lord has sent death upon Jacob, and it has come upon Israel. And all the people of Ephraim, and they that dwell in Samaria shall know, who say in their pride and lofty heart, The bricks are fallen down. But come, let us hew stones, and cut down sycamores and cedars, and let us build for ourselves a tower. And God shall dash down them that rise up against him on Mount Sion, and shall scatter his enemies. Even Syria from the rising of the sun, and the Greeks from the setting of the sun, who devour Israel with open mouth. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is exalted. But the people turned not until they were smitten, and they sought not the Lord. So the Lord took away from Israel the head and tail, great and small, in one day. The old man, and them that respect persons, this is the head, and the prophet teaching unlawful things, he is the tail. And they that pronounce this people blessed shall mislead them, and they mislead them that they may devour them. Therefore the Lord shall not take pleasure in their young men, neither shall he have pity on their orphans or on their widows. For they are all transgressors and wicked, and every mouth speaks unjustly. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is yet exalted. And iniquity shall burn as fire, and shall be devoured by fire as dry grass. And it shall burn in the thickets of the wood, and shall devour all that is round about the hills. The whole earth is set on fire because of the fierce anger of the Lord, and the people shall be as men burnt by fire. No man shall pity his brother, but one shall turn aside to the right hand, where he shall be hungry, and shall eat on the left. And a man shall by no means be satisfied with eating the flesh of his own arm. For Manasseh shall eat the flesh of Ephraim, and Ephraim the flesh of Manasseh, for they shall besiege Judah together. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is yet exalted. The second epistle of St. Paul the Apostle to St. Timothy, chapter 3. This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away. For of this sort are they which creep into houses, and lead captive silly women laden with sins, led away with divers lusts, ever learning, and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Now as Jannes and Jambres withstood Moses, so do these also resist the truth, men of corrupt minds, reprobate concerning the faith. But they shall proceed no further, for their folly shall be manifest unto all men, as theirs was also. But thou hast fully known my doctrine, manner of life, purpose, faith, long-suffering, charity, patience, persecutions, afflictions, which came unto me at Antioch, at Iconium, at Lystra. What persecutions I endured, but out of them all the Lord delivered me. Yea, and all that will live godly in Christ Jesus shall suffer persecution. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. But continue thou in the things which thou hast learned, and hast been assured of, knowing of whom thou hast learned them, and that from a child thou hast known the Holy Scriptures, which are able to make thee wise unto salvation through faith which is in Christ Jesus. All Scripture is given by inspiration of God, and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of God may be perfect, thoroughly furnished unto all good works.